David Bazzoni is an entrepreneur who founded iDNA Brands in Warsaw, a multi-million-dollar company that produces coasters, barbecue sets, and tailgating accessories with a sport theme. The Sportula, a stainless steel spatula with an NFL logo cut into the blade, that's David. His company's latest offering is a book entitled Joe Journeyman, a Where's Waldo-ish book featuring a fictional NFL superstar. Good morning, David Bazzoni. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, good morning to you, Lynn, and thank you so much for having us on this morning.
I am a fan of this book the moment I saw it. Now, a great number of entrepreneurs get that bug early in life. Was that true for you? Because you're in your early 30s.
I suppose you could say that. I've had some great entrepreneurial figures in my life, starting with my dad, who's operated a small manufacturing business in North Manchester, Indiana for 50 years, and my mentor in business, a gentleman named Steve Bryant, who's very entrepreneurial at heart and has taught me an awful lot about business in general. But if you look across, our organization at iDNA Brands, a lot of us, kind of have that entrepreneurial spirit and that entrepreneurial heart. And to us, I guess what that means is we're free to create amazing products and anything we want and then share those products with the world. And we like to say, Lynn, it's America, and that means we're free to do anything we want and create anything we want and have that creative freedom. And we're real thankful to live in a country that we can do that.
Yes, we're grateful for entrepreneurs like you, so keep going there. I know that I don't need to tell you that because you will do that. Joe Journeyman is a collaboration between you and an old classmate, artist Jed Bruce. Tell us the concept behind the book, how it came to be.
Well, I'll start with how it came to be.
Okay.
And you hit it right on the head. Joe Journeyman is a search and find concept. But the story behind Joe Journeyman is what, really resonates with the people that we've had an opportunity to interact with. Obviously, they love the product, but the story behind the story is pretty special as well.
It is.
And it did start with an old classmate. So Jed Bruce, and I'm in the car with him right now. He's right next to me. We're actually heading up to Notre Dame for a book signing event, which we're excited about. And Jed and I hadn't seen each other in 13 years. So the last time we had shared a grade together was ninth grade.
Oh, wow.
And we went our separate ways. And but 13 years later, about 3 years ago, we reunited, and just absolute chance at a local hangout in Manchester, our hometown. I was there because my wife is a school teacher, and she randomly drops me off to kill some time, and in walks Jed Bruce, the most talented guy I could ever remember from school, and we hadn't seen each other in all those years, and we caught up, and he told me where he was at in life, and for the first time in his whole life, he was unemployed. It was a tough economy at the time. He had his first child on the way, and the best way to say it is he was very stressed out. So I was in a position to help him, and I thought, if I can't and our team can't, think of something for a guy as talented as Jed is, then, I just knew we could. And so I asked Jed if he wanted a job without a clue about what we were going to do. And, of course, Jed said, yeah, that sounds good. What am I going to do? And I said, I have no idea. So that's the story on kind of how it started with Joe Journeyman. So for the next 6 months, we've got Jed, our full-time artist, and we don't know what to do with him. I don't know what to do with him. And so I'm obsessively trying to think of something for Jed to do. And 6 months later, I was watching an ESPN documentary about a journeyman, about a boxer. They were referring to a boxer who traveled from that's our story, from place to place fighting to make a living. And I thought, well, instead of a boxer, what if we created a search and find book, a book about a guy named Joe Journeyman, and he was the only player to play for all 32 NFL teams, and it would be a search and find concept. So I called up Jed. I'm talking a million miles an hour, and I said, Jed, I think I figured out what we're going to do for the next 5 years, and off we go. So we took it to the NFL.
Jed, hello to you sitting next to David in the car. I'm so glad that the two of you met up at that coffee shop, because Jed had some of his artwork in the trunk, and that's what he showed you. And you said, hey, this guy, as you said, David, has talent. We're going to hire him. We've given away our Bead for Life bracelets, so thank you so much for your phone calls. I want to give away 2 copies of the Joe Journeyman Volume 1, because Volume 2 comes out next year. There are 16 teams featured in Volume 1, and then another 16 in Volume 2. So we'll do that to callers 6 and 7 who haven't won anything on Mid-Morning in the past 60 days and are a parent of the child. And I'm going to say age 5, to 12. If you fit into that, 260-745-9090, 260-745-9090. David, describe this book, because it's oversized. I didn't measure it, but maybe 12 by 16, a glossy slip cover. The team is on both sides of the page, and it is just saturated with images.
Yeah, I'll explain the concept a little bit more. So, of course, it's called Joe Journeyman, and our main character is Joe Journeyman, of course. And as the story goes, when Joe Journeyman was the only player to play for all 32 NFL teams, and the objective is to find him on each of those pages that you're referring to. And it is an oversized book, 10 inches by 13 inches, and it's just a reflection of the God-given talent that Jed has. Mm-hmm. And so on each of the 2-page spreads, there's the goal of finding Joe somewhere in all of that amazing detailed artwork. And in addition to finding Joe, there's a checklist in the back of the book, and you're looking for not only Joe Journeyman, but his friends. His friends are a little bit different than our friends. They're Touchdown Ted the Turtle, End Zone Ernie the Elephant, Leon the Lion, Pom Pom Polly, Super Fan Franny the Fox, and we do have a bad guy named Copycat Carl, or in this case, a bad kitty cat. And Copycat Carl is trying to steal Joe's missing playbook. But in addition to finding Joe and all of his friends in his playbook, there's also over 500 things that you're looking for listed in the back of the book that'll make you laugh out loud. So one example, one of those 500 is a piggyback ride. So in our case, it would be one pig giving another pig a piggyback ride. So we like to say they're literal translations to everyday things or everyday expressions that'll make you laugh out loud. We think, I'm stealing this from the folks at Life is Good, a brand that we look up to, and I had a chance to meet their founders, but they said laughter is a superpower, and we agree. And so when you find all these funny things in Joe Journeyman and you laugh, we think we've done our job at that point.
So Jed's take on cow tipping is quite unique as well, which is very funny, and I'm not going to give away what that is. But I love this book for a lot of reasons, David. One of them, yes, it's great for the kid you give it to, because, it's going to keep this kid occupied for a long time, and he or she will really enjoy it. But I see this as a family book, and a book that, grandparents can do with their grandkids, and it's a book that doesn't have any real text to it, so you can make it whatever you want it to be.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, and I think you explained that perfectly, because it really encourages, I would call it good old-fashioned family fun. Mm-hmm. It's an opportunity, and we've taken a lot of video of folks just interacting with their kids, and you get the whole family around the table, get them off their iPhones for 15, 20 minutes, and it turns into a lot longer than that. And it's just refreshing to see a family get together, and they're trying to find Joe. It turns into a little bit of a competition, and it's really neat to see, a father or a mother educate the child. Well, Mom, what does it mean when they say hare and it's spelled H-A-R-E? Well, that's another name for a rabbit. And so for the very first time in a child's life, perhaps they're expanding their vocabulary on certain words, and they're their own stories and letting their own creativity run free. And we really think it's great for a child's development and really good for the family.
Yeah. We've given away our copies of Joe Journeyman, so thank you for your phone calls. I noticed there's a kiosk at Glenbrook Mall in Fort Wayne, David, that has not just Joe Journeyman, but the other products that you make, the sportulas and such. So my guess is this is available in brick and mortar stores and also online bookstores. Any other location you want to mention?
We do. We have 2 websites. For Joe Journeyman specifically, we've got joejourneyman.com. And we did create hopefully you're okay with this, but we thought it would be nice if we created a coupon code that would be specific for your listeners.
Oh, fantastic.
And so it's WBCL, and if you go to joejourneyman.com, you can use that coupon code to get 10% off. There's the books. And one thing to keep in mind that's fun is there's also a puzzle for each of the teams. So you have your Packers puzzle and your Colts puzzle and your Bears and on. And then we also have posters and canvases. And so those are all available on joejourneyman.com. And if you use that coupon code WBCL, you'll get 10% off. And I also want to point out that 10% of the net profits for what we generate from Joe Journeyman go to support Joe's Kids, which is near and dear to our heart. It's a local clinic here in Warsaw, Indiana, that supports kids with special needs. And we provide, I say we, I am on the board, but it is a nonprofit, 501c3, and it supports kids with special needs with physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. So joejourneyman.com is a great place to check out, and you can also go to idnabrands.com for the other products that you mentioned.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for mentioning Joe's Kids, because I was going to do that. My guess is you've just only really scratched the surface of all the things that you can do with Joe Journeyman.
We think so. We're excited. We're excited about it. We like to think it's the new gold standard for anybody who loves to search, and we think it'll be very, very successful commercially. And there's certainly the why though that really gets us fired up, and that's the Joe's Kids. We hope the legacy of Joe Journeyman when we're all long and gone. We hope the part that'll live on will be Joe's Kids. Right now we have one location, and it's doing very, very well. Serving a great need here in Warsaw, Indiana. But our dream is, and Joe's dream is that with the product expansions and the success of the brand and all that good stuff, comes an expansion of Joe's Kids, because we want to have more than one. And you got to start with one, but Joe's a big dreamer, and he's got a big vision for Joe's Kids, and we're looking forward to that.
David Bazzoni, thank you so much for joining us. It was nice to meet you, and also Jed Bruce. Through you, have a wonderful Thanksgiving and Christmas, and thank you for this gift, not only to kids, but to their families as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
You're most welcome.